Hey guys, so I know I haven't posted in a while, and that's why I'm making this video so I can kind of give you guys an update on what exactly is going on in my life and what I'm going to do with the channel moving forward. And I'm going to do this in kind of more of a one take, laid back, podcast ish format, which is honestly kind of the format that I prefer and I feel most comfortable in. So I'm probably going to this is the part of the reason why I'm making this video so I can talk about that type of thing. But first thing I wanted to say is I'm on a bit of a break right now with making videos, and that's why I haven't done them in a while because I just got so much going on. I am in school and work, so I got so much going on. It's getting towards the end of the year here and getting towards finals, so I have so much to do there. I ran out of time to finish my whole MCU series of review, and I'll get back to that in a second. But yeah, I got too much going on right now, and it's so hard for me to do all this and edit it, and it just takes time. It's not something that I'm really able to do at this point in time, and I probably won't put up much videos within the next few weeks until finals are over. So just thought I'd let you guys know that, and then also, I'm so zoned in on Endgame right now. It's really hard to like focus on anything else, and I just didn't really feel like doing any of that stuff. And yeah, it's too much going on. Just thinking about Endgame so much, and it's all this schoolwork. It's just so much going on, and I'm seeing Endgame on Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm probably not even gonna do I'm not gonna do a formal review for that, and that brings me to my next point, which is I'm probably not going to do the quick, formal, edited reviews anymore because there's several reasons, and the first one I kind of already touched on this is that it's a lot of work, especially for someone like me who is in school and working. It takes time to edit, and I got to take my notes, and there's so much that I have to put into it that it's just too difficult for me to do all that at this point in time. And I found myself, ever since I started doing this, kind of not really enjoying movies like I used to. I would think about it too much, and I would try to, when I would watch movies at home, I would take my phone in with me and take notes, like positives, negatives, and I was just thinking about it too much as opposed to actually enjoying the experience of the movie. So I kind of want to get back to that as opposed to, looking at movies critically, which it was never my true intention of this channel. It's just kind of the way it kind of has to go if you're going to do those formal reviews with the positives, negatives, and then a score. And which kind of brings me to my other point, which is the market is extremely flooded as far as those just, straight up movie reviews go. Everyone and their mother is doing that right now, so it's very, very difficult to break through. So that's a reason that I'm probably going to move away from that format of videos. Let me be very clear about this, guys. I am not deleting my YouTube channel. I am not done making videos. Definitely not. So stick around, stay subscribed, whatever. Keep following my channel, and I probably won't post much of anything in the next few weeks, but there will be something. I will start doing something again very soon. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be the formal, edited, quick, professional movie review style that I have been doing, that so many people do. The market is flooded. I just found myself not quite enjoying movies the way I want to. I just want to look forward to Endgame, enjoy that, and enjoy other movies, and just kind of talk about them more casually, and kind of more conversational and more of a podcast format. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Is that I'm going to change up the style a little bit of my channel. It's still going to be definitely movie related. Maybe I'll even work in a little bit of sports once in a while. I'm not really sure how exactly it's going to work, but I really would like to do things more casual, podcast style, more conversational, maybe talk with other people on the channel. But I found that the movie review style that I was doing just doesn't fit for me, and there's just so many other people doing it, and I wasn't just enjoying movies the way I was, and it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. I did kind of like it, but it was on the right track. But I'm going to mix things up a little bit and change up the channel a little bit and see how that goes. But yeah, I just thought I'd let you guys know that. And also, I did promise that I was going to review every single MCU movie leading into Avengers Endgame. I started the series. The last one that I did was Guardians of the Galaxy. So, what I'm going to do about that is I'm not going to do formal review videos for all the rest of the movies, obviously, because Avengers Endgame comes out in 2 days, so that'd be very difficult for me to do that. And I honestly, I planned on still doing it, and then I just kind of, so much was going on, and I wasn't quite liking exactly what I was doing with this channel, so decided not to finish that. But since I always finish what I started, I'm still going to give you guys my quick thoughts on the rest of the MCU movies leading into Endgame. So, like I said, the last one I reviewed was Guardians of the Galaxy. So next up is Ant-Man, and Ant-Man is a movie that I enjoy a lot. It's a very simple movie. It definitely kind of follows the Marvel formula, and there's really not much stakes to it. The scale isn't very big. It's very much a small-scale movie, literally, because the guy turns into an ant. But I love the cast. I love the humor. I love that it's a heist movie. It's just a very solid, fun entry into the series. And then you get to Avengers Age of Ultron, which is a movie that, I got to admit, I don't quite understand why everyone hates that movie so much. Because I've watched it so many times. Ever since the first time I saw Age of Ultron, I very much enjoy that movie. I actually like it quite a bit. A lot more than most people. And I'm not just hearing people saying that it was disappointing, which is understandable. I can get that. It was definitely a step down from the first Avengers movie, but what I'm hearing from a lot of people is the fact that they think it's just straight up bad, like a garbage movie, and I can't understand that at all. There's a lot to like about this movie. First of all, seeing the characters, all the team together again, literally the beginning of the movie, they're on a mission all together. That's great, and I think they know these characters more in this movie than they did in the first Avengers movie, and that makes for some great character interactions and some great character moments. There's some really cool action scenes, and Ultron, Ultron is mixed for me because I wish they would have gone more for the tone that they showed in the trailer, where he was a really dark, scary Ultron, and we got glimpses of that, but there was just too much quipping and too much one-liners, and I wasn't fond of what they did with his character, making him kind of like a robot version of Tony Stark. I didn't like that at all. But overall, some of it was good as far as Ultron, the character, goes. Some of it was not. And then you get to the only real other big issue with this movie is that they go off the rails a little bit. They go off track a little bit with some of the distracting scenes that don't really have to do with the movie, like the Thor bathtub scene. I don't know what the hell was up with that. That was why couldn't they have just shown that in his original vision? That was just weird that they took that sidetrack there. But no, I really do enjoy that movie a lot. Guys, since this is podcast form, I'm probably going to have to take a few drinks of water. In my other videos, when I would edit out, when I was drinking water, when I was stumbling, I can't think of what to say, stuff like that. And that was the reason they turned out the way they did, which was good, but at the same time, I am leaning more towards, realism and casual, talking about movies. So, all right. So, then we get to... Oh, no, sorry, I went out of order. Age of Ultron was before Ant-Man. Doesn't really matter. My thoughts are still the same. But then we get to Captain America Civil War, which I absolutely love. To this point, in 2016, when I saw Civil War, it was my favorite MCU movie, and since I haven't seen Endgame yet, I don't know where that's going to be. It's my number 2 right now. But I love Captain America Civil War because what they do is, excuse me, you get Tony and you get Cap, both characters you love, but they have very different ideas of how to handle things after, Thunderbolt Ross comes in and says the Avengers need to be put under oversight by the United Nations, and the panel will decide if and when they go into a fight so they can prevent collateral damage, or at least minimize it. Which, to be honest, I am going to just say straight up, I'm on Team Cap. I think the regulation thing is a terrible idea, because I think it's going to cause more deaths than it would prevent. The time it would take for them to deliberate in a committee whether to send the Avengers to the fight or not. By the time they make that decision, so many more people would have died than had the Avengers been there right away. They're preventing so many deaths, and like Cap said in the movie, our job is to save as many people as we can. Sometimes it doesn't mean everyone. They're doing the absolute best they can, and they still know what's best. Definitely better than the government. That's for sure. So, but you understand where Tony's coming from. He feels guilty for Ultron, and they really collide with their ideologies here. And then you got the whole Bucky thing. Just a great movie with some great character arcs, and it really, from the first moment we saw Captain America and Tony together, we knew there was some tension there. So it really kind of elevated that and took it to the kind of the next level in this movie and really builded on that. And then so they did the whole thing where they disagreed on the Accords, and then we found out Bucky killed Tony's parents. And after Tony had realized, Cap was probably right about this, and they have the fight at the end. It's a tough movie to watch, to see them all fight each other. But the airport scene is amazing. The final fight scene is amazing. Russo brothers are really good with action, and I mentioned that in my Winter Soldier review. All the action scenes are great. Some great character moments. Some great tension. Sorry, I got distracted. I just got a notification on my computer. But continuing on, there's some great intense scenes in this movie. Some great action scenes. They even managed to throw in a little bit of the humor, even though overall this is a very serious movie that has kind of some real life issues thrust into it, and then it ends with them broken up, which ultimately probably leads to their defeat in Avengers Infinity War. I'm sorry, this is taking way longer than I expected. I'm going to keep going. So 2016, the second movie was Doctor Strange, and I like Doctor Strange. I don't have a ton really to say about it. The character is very similar to Tony Stark, and it definitely kind of follows the Marvel formula, but I really like how they added in kind of more of the magic side of the MCU, and this is the first time we really got to see that. We got to see the cosmic stuff. Give me a second. I'm just going to get rid of this notification here. So we got introduced to the cosmic stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy, and then we kind of got introduced to the magic side of it in Doctor Strange, and I think all that was really cool, and the visuals of it was very cool. There were some great performances. I really did like. I got to give a shout out to Chiwetel Ejiofor. I'm not sure if I said that right, but I really like that actor. He played Victor Sweet in Four Brothers, and he plays Mordo in Doctor Strange. He was probably the standout of the movie for me. Some great performances, even though sometimes it can definitely drag a little bit and it follows the Marvel formula, but overall, a solid entry into the MCU and a solid origin story. So then we get to 2017, which starts with Guardians 2, and Guardians 2, I think, was a significant step down from Guardians 1. Even though I enjoyed it quite a bit, it's still a very fun movie, still a solid entry into the MCU. I found myself not laughing at as many of the jokes in this one as I did in the first one, and it felt like they were throwing joke after joke after joke in there, and sometimes it got to be a little bit too much. Enjoyed the movie a lot, and Yondu was a standout of this movie, and his spoilers, obviously, all the rest of these are going to have spoilers in them, aside from Endgame, obviously, because they haven't seen it yet. But all the rest of the MCU movies that I'm going to talk about now are going to be spoiler-filled. So I should have warned you earlier. I'm warning you now. In Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Yondu dies, and that is a sad scene because they give him a lot in this movie, and they really get you to connect with him so that his death scene really works, and you feel for Quill, who finally realizes that Yondu was his dad and that his real dad, Ego, was a total dick. But yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a funny movie. I have issues with some of the comedies a little too much. It was joke, and not all of them landed, and there was some jokes that were just kind of mean-spirited that weren't even that funny. You're like, I'm not sure what exactly they're doing here. And there was just kind of a lack of real dramatic tension, and there wasn't really a real villain throughout the movie, so there wasn't really a ton of... It was just kind of a bunch of scenes happening, and even though it was entertaining to watch, you weren't actually exactly sure where it was going. So at times it could feel like there wasn't any real tension there or real stakes, and there wasn't really anything that was going on story-wise. And then you go to Spider-Man Homecoming, which is a movie that a lot of people have in their top 5 in the MCU, which I think is a little bit weird. I think it's a solid, fun movie. It's right in that middle pack of the MCU with, Ant-Man and Doctor Strange. The best part of this movie by far was the villain played by Michael Keaton, who was Vulture, and just absolute standout, one of the best villains in the MCU. I thought it was a very light tone, it was a very low stakes, low scale movie, and it was very predictable, but it was a very fun Spider-Man movie, and I love how it captured, the actual high school essence of the character of Spider-Man and makes him seem really relatable, and how the actor playing Spider-Man really does seem like he is in high school. So enjoyed that movie, but I think people hype it up a little bit too much. So then we get Thor Ragnarok, and I absolutely love this movie. This was one of the most fun theater experiences I've ever had. Complete blast. I mean, this movie it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I honestly gotta say it might have even out Guardians of the Galaxy Guardians of the Galaxy. It was really close with the first one. I think they're about tied, I'd say, and it took Thor in a direction that it's different, but I liked it a lot, and I really like the short hair also. I like this movie, and Infinity War made Thor from one of probably the worst characters in the MCU to one of the best. So amazing how they really changed all that up. This movie was, yeah, it was really late in tone, and one of the only complaints I have is that sometimes it would undercut dramatic moments with too much humor. So the humor worked for the most part, but sometimes they put it in spots where it didn't necessarily belong. But a really fun movie with vibrant colors, and it's just very, very fun to look at, fun to watch, and Valkyrie's an awesome character. Hela's a great villain. Loki and Thor stuff in this movie is awesome. Just so much to love about Thor Ragnarok. So then we get to last year, and last year started with Black Panther, which is another movie that, watching it again, I forgot how great this movie really is. And sometimes I do say it's a little bit overrated by some people, and I don't know. It's hard to say because the only issues I really have with it is it drags a little bit in the first act, and some of the CGI looked weird. But, God, Killmonger is one of the best villains in the MCU, and you understand where he's coming from, even though he's doing some really bad things. You're like, I don't agree with him, but I get why he's doing it. Similar to another villain that I'll talk about in a second. But it's just so cool. The look of Wakanda was great. The hand-to-hand fight scenes were amazing, and some of the side characters were also really, really good. I'm sorry. I got another notification here. All right, there we go. So some of the side characters were great, and I was honestly really surprised about that. When you get Shuri and Okoye and Nakia, and especially M'Baku, who is probably my favorite character in the movie. I fucking love M'Baku, and sometimes they outshine the main character of the movie, which is Black Panther. And I found Black Panther more interesting in Civil War than I did in this. And I didn't mention that when I talk about Civil War, but the way they incorporated Black Panther into Civil War was great. He fit into the story well, unlike maybe some of the other characters that they threw in there to make the teams even, which was one of my small issues with Civil War, along with the fact that Zemo's plan was maybe a little bit too far-fetched. But no, other than that, so Black Panther, they did get outshined a little bit in this movie, which is fine. I mean, it's definitely an ensemble piece, even though he's the main character. Villain's great, a lot of great side characters, great portrayal of women in this movie. So many great things about this movie, and the music, oh man, the music is amazing. If you're talking about either the actual songs that are in it, from, Pray For Me, or the song in the end credits, All the Stars, or the score, the actual score is incredible. Probably I'm not even going to say probably, definitely the best score in the MCU. Just a really, really great, cool movie that does touch on some real life issues. So then I get to Avengers Infinity War, which is, to this point, on Wednesday, April 24th, 2 days before I watch Avengers Endgame, is my favorite MCU movie. Because almost every scene was perfect, and I can't believe how well they pulled this off. And they managed to make us feel for Thanos. They managed to make us feel for a giant purple alien that is trying to wipe out half of the universe, and he succeeds. Thanos has the most screen time of anyone in this movie. He is, even though he's the villain, he's probably the main character. So it was a really interesting way they did this, having us follow Thanos throughout the movie and get to understand why he's doing what he's doing, even though he's evil. And you're like, I understand, because he has kind of a tragic past with what happened to his planet, and you're like, I get why you're doing this, but there's got to be another way, and you can't, killing half the people to preserve the other half is not the answer. But he's like, it's the only way, and I'm the only one willing to do anything about it. So he really makes you think about his motivations and think about him as a character. And, just so much action, but it's good action. The Russo brothers once again nail it with the action. Visual effects are amazing, and this movie just has this sense of dread kind of running throughout it, kind of like The Empire Strikes Back, where you're like, this might not end well, and bad things are going to happen, and you feel like this is going to have a crazy ending, and it does, because Thanos succeeds in wiping out half the universe, leaves the original 6 Avengers and a few more of their friends, but kills off Spider-Man, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, a bunch of people you thought were, the new faces of the MCU, and they probably still will be. But I just wanted to say that I fucking love Infinity War. The only real issues that I have is towards the beginning of the movie, there was so many different groups of people that they had to bounce back and forth between that it feels a bit jumbled. Particularly Tony and Doctor Strange, it takes a really long time to get back to them. I want to say like a half hour, and by the time it gets back to Tony and Doctor Strange, you're like, holy shit, I completely forgot about them. Completely forgot, and you're like, oh yeah. So that's about the only issue I have with it, and then that kind of fixes itself throughout the movie as people start to meet up with each other and team up. Battle on Titan is great, the battle on Wakanda is great. This movie just has so many awesome yes moments, just so many memorable moments, so many, emotional moments, and it manages to throw in the humor in there as well, and that lands, and they throw it in the right moments. So many great things about Infinity War, and I just cannot wait for Endgame. Next is Ant-Man and the Wasp, which also plays a decent amount into Endgame, because Scott Lang, spoiler alert, at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, gets stuck in the quantum realm, and Hope, Hank, and Janet all get dusted, so he's trapped in there. Not sure how he's going to get out for Endgame, but I'm looking forward to that. Guys, I don't know every single person that follows me, but I really feel like I should be able to trust you enough to not put Endgame spoilers in the comments if for some reason you've seen it already. But from what I can tell, I don't have very many subscribers yet. From what I can tell, everyone I either know personally or I can trust. They seem like really cool people. So please be cool about that. And even if I do end up posting a video about Endgame, which I'm not sure I'm going to do, it's definitely not going to be a formal review like I've been doing. Like I said, I won't be doing that anymore probably. Don't put spoilers in that either. Guys, don't ruin it for people. Please, this is a really huge thing. And even though I almost didn't post this video till after I saw Endgame, but I really want to let you guys know what's going on and give my thoughts on the rest of the MCU movies before that. So please don't go around spreading spoilers. Don't be that person. And I'm pretty sure I can trust everyone that subscribes to me to do so, but I just thought I'd have to mention that just in case. Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's another fun movie. It's very much on the same level as the first Ant-Man, in my opinion. I even like it a little bit more because Hope, the main reason is Hope. Hope is awesome in this movie. I wasn't a huge fan of Hope in the first Ant-Man. She was kind of pouty, and I just wasn't super fond of her. In this movie, she's great. She's probably a standout of this movie. In this movie, they say Captain Marvel is the first female-led MCU movie, and in a sense it is, but I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is. They call it Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is a co-lead between Scott Lang and Hope, played by Evangeline Lilly, who is awesome. But I honestly think that Hope is the main character of this movie. I really do. And she is definitely the standout. She kicks all kinds of ass. And, the villain, Ghost, you feel for. She's got a kind of a tragic backstory. And then you got the, cliche villain played by Walton Goggins. I can't even remember the guy's name. That's how cliche he was. He was a cliche weapons dealer who's just trying to make money and has a southern accent. And he's like, yeah, so if we're going to make a deal, whatever. I don't know what the hell that was. But, typical character like that. And it's just a really solid, fun movie that is never boring. It's also really funny, just like the first one. It's got more great Michael Pena moments in it. The cast is great. All the characters are just as good or better than they are in the first one. And maybe it's a little bit messier, with especially with some of the quantum realm stuff. Doesn't really make that much sense. Maybe we'll get a little more of that in Endgame. But yeah, I enjoyed Ant-Man the Wasp for what it is, but the mid-credit scene definitely added quite a bit to it and was different from most of the rest of the movie. And then we get to this year, which is Captain Marvel, the last one before Endgame. And I've already posted a review on this and spoiler talk. And I just saw it for the third time last night. I enjoy Captain Marvel. I do like it. I don't love it. I think there's definitely things that are not great about it. It's far from a perfect movie, and it's not like a top tier MCU movie, but it's a solid average MCU movie, and it's fun. I think Brie Larson is okay, and I've honestly heard good things about her in Endgame, that the Russo brothers utilized her well, so I'm looking forward to seeing that, and I think she'll be fine. I think she's still finding the character, and I think she honestly played the character of Captain Marvel for what she was supposed to be pretty well. I think she was supposed to be kind of robotic, because that's the way her character is. She doesn't remember what it's like to be human. So it kind of makes sense, and maybe her performance was like that on purpose. But, the de-aging with Samuel Jackson and Clark Gregg was amazing. Samuel Jackson was a standout of this movie. So was Ben Mendelsohn as the lead Skrull. I kind of saw the twist coming for Jude Law being the bad guy. But they still kind of made it decent. They pulled it off decently, and the fact that Tesseract was in it, it's fine. It doesn't retcon anything. People say it does. No, it doesn't. There's still a perfect timeline with the Tesseract. And I was just talking to my dad about this last night, and I kind of put everything together in my head. No, it all still makes perfect sense. I'm not going to go through it again because I talked about it in my Captain Marvel spoiler review. But, yep, here we are. So, wow, this went on for a lot longer than I thought. To recap, I just gave you all my thoughts of the rest of the MCU movies I had not reviewed yet. I'm seeing Endgame on Friday. I cannot wait. And I just I was making this video to say that I've been on a little break. I'm going to continue to be on a little break for a few weeks here. When I come back, my video styles are probably going to be different. It's not going to be the formal movie review with the edits and quick positive, negative, and then score that I usually do. I think I want to do more podcast style, conversational, possibly even talk to other people about it. So there we go, guys. I just wanted to give you an update on everything that's going on and kind of fill you in on what my thoughts are of the rest of the MCU movies, since I won't get to do the full reviews on them. And I hope you guys stick around, and thanks for following me this far. And I don't know where exactly my channel is going from here, but I'm doing something, and hopefully you stick around for the ride. Thanks, guys. See you soon.